Tonight, we explore moments in history where reality quietly resembled conspiracy. Stories that were once dismissed as improbable, exaggerated, or even fictional, only to later emerge with documented evidence. These stories are not presented as sensational revelations, but as reminders that history, like memory, can be complex and sometimes incomplete. The first story begins during the Cold War, a period defined by tension, secrecy, and an atmosphere where information was carefully controlled. During this time, a program known as MK-Ultra operated in the shadows. For years, rumors circulated about experiments involving psychological manipulation and altered states of consciousness. These rumors were often dismissed as conspiracy theories, stories told on the fringes, lacking credibility in mainstream discourse. Yet in the 1970s, investigations revealed documentation confirming the existence of MK-Ultra, a program involving experiments on human subjects conducted without informed consent. The details were unsettling, but perhaps more unsettling was the realization that rumors, once considered implausible, had contained fragments of truth. Another story involves a proposed operation known as Operation Northwoods. In the early 1960s, documents later declassified revealed discussions of staged incidents designed to justify military action. The proposal was never implemented, yet its existence demonstrated something profound: that ideas once dismissed as too extreme had been formally considered within strategic planning contexts. History does not suggest inevitability, but it does suggest possibility. A reminder that human decision-making, even within institutions, can be complex. There are also stories involving surveillance. For decades, concerns about widespread monitoring were often labeled, yet revelations in the early 21st century confirmed extensive surveillance programs operating at scales previously difficult to imagine. These disclosures did not validate every speculation, but they reshaped public understanding of technological capability and institutional reach. Another historical example involves the Tuskegee syphilis study, a study that began in 1932 under the premise of observing disease progression. Participants were not fully informed of the nature of the study, and treatment was withheld even after it became available. For years, the ethical implications remained obscured from public awareness, until investigative reporting brought the story into wider consciousness. The revelation was not only about medical ethics, but about the importance of transparency, accountability, and historical reflection. There are also quieter conspiracies, moments where corporate or institutional actions were concealed, not for dramatic geopolitical strategy, but for economic or reputational preservation. Documents revealed decades later, memoirs written after careers concluded, pieces of information that gradually reshaped understanding of past events. Yet it is important to approach these stories with balance. History is not a binary narrative of hidden truth versus public deception. It is a mosaic, a collection of perspectives, motivations, and incomplete information. And perhaps the most valuable lesson from these stories is not suspicion, but humility. Humility in recognizing the limits of certainty. Humility in understanding that knowledge evolves. And humility in accepting that history, like memory, is continuously reinterpreted. As you lie here tonight, reflecting on these stories, it may be tempting to search for definitive conclusions, to categorize events as either truth or conspiracy. But sleep invites a different approach, an approach grounded not in resolution, but in curiosity. Curiosity without anxiety, reflection without fixation. Because history is vast, and the mysteries within it do not demand immediate answers. They invite contemplation, a quiet awareness that human systems, like human minds, are imperfect, and that uncertainty is not inherently threatening. It is simply part of the human experience. So allow these stories to rest in the background, not as sources of unease, but as reminders of complexity, of nuance, of the layered nature of truth. And as your thoughts begin to soften, remember that peace does not require complete understanding of history. It requires presence. Presence in this moment. Presence in the quiet rhythm of your breath. Presence in the knowledge that whatever mysteries exist in the world, they need not disturb your rest. Because sleep is not concerned with unresolved history. Sleep arrives gently, regardless of unanswered questions. And in that gentle arrival, curiosity transforms into calm. Reflection transforms into stillness. And history fades quietly into the background.